of 8th semester. Today we will start with the unit 5 part B, that is the floods. Okay, so unit 5 we have covered landslide completely, and now there is a small topic regarding floods. Okay, all right, so we're starting with what is flood. So flood is a state of high water level along a river channel or the coast that leads to inundation of land. Okay, that means flooding of land, which is usually not submerged. Okay, floods can also happen gradually and can take hours or even happen suddenly without any warning due to breach in embankment, spillover, heavy rains. Okay, so flooding can be because of heavy rains, because of breaking or breach in the embankment also. Okay, and or because of excessive spillover. Okay, next, flooding may occur as an overflow of water from the water bodies. Okay, if there is a river, okay, and then the river overflows, that extra water can lead to flooding in the areas that is closer to the river. Okay, so like that also there can be flooding. Also, to prevent flooding, leaves are provided. Okay, leaves are embankment which are usually provided so that there is no overflowing of river. Okay, to prevent the overflowing of river, leaves are provided, okay, near the sides of the river. Okay, they are a type of embankment only. Okay, so if a river overflows, okay, if there is excessive overflowing, then leaves can break. Okay, the overflowing river can break the leaves, and then they can cause the floods, okay, near the areas surrounding the river. All right, and also there can be floods due to accumulation of rainwater, okay, on the saturated ground. If there is excessive rainfall continuously for some days, then the soil will not be able to absorb the moisture, and then that can lead to your flooding scenario. Okay, also floods can occur in rivers when flow rate exceeds the capacity of the river. Obviously, if there is if the flow rate, okay, a river will have a particular flow rate. Okay, so suddenly if there is excessive rainfall or if a dam is in opened, okay, so there can be the flow rate of that river can exceed. Okay, exceed what, how much it will exceed? It can exceed the capacity. There must be a capacity of a river. Okay, so if it exceeds beyond that capacity, so then there will be a situation of flood. Okay, and last is some floods some floods develop slowly while other floods such as flash floods, yes, what is, see, some floods like underground floods will develop slowly, but flash floods develop very fast and will go away also very fast. Okay, so that is what this is saying. Okay, okay, I hope you have understood. Okay, you can pause the video, you can go through what is written. All right, okay, so we are moving to the next slide. Types of flooding. Okay, so there are actually 5 types of flooding. 5 types of flooding are there. Coastal flooding is one. Coastal flooding for coastal areas. Riverine flooding. Riverine flooding, floods in rivers. And there is flash floods. Flash floods. Then you have underground floods. Underground floods, and last is drain and sewer floods. Drain and sewer flood or flooding. Okay, these are the different types of flooding. Okay, so here you can see coastal areas. What is coastal flooding? Coastal flooding is generally present near the oceans. Okay, so this type of flooding takes place in coastal areas. Okay, how? Because of tides. Okay, so extreme weather condition is, if there is an extreme weather condition, let's say there is a tsunami suddenly, okay, because of an earthquake, and that can lead to tsunami. Okay, and that tsunami can cause this coastal flooding. Also submarine landslide. Okay, in the landslide part we learned that submarine landslide takes place underwater. So if there is submarine landslide, that can lead to tsunami, and that can again cause your coastal flooding. Okay, and also high tides, because of tides also the sea level rises, and that can also lead to coastal flooding. Low lying seaside areas, okay, they usually have defenses against water, whether it's man-made. So but then if those defenses break, then there can be again coastal flooding. Okay, global warming develops. Okay, coastal flooding is expected to recur. Okay, because of global warming the coastal flooding is expected to recur. Why? Because of global warming the ice bergs are melting. Okay, then that is increasing the your flow of water in your oceans and seas, and that is again will can lead to your coastal flooding, because this coastal areas are lying just near the oceans. Okay, they are connected directly with the oceans and seas. Okay, so that can again lead to coastal flooding. All right. Okay, so this is an example of your coastal flooding. See, this is a ocean or maybe a sea. Okay, and this is a coastal area just nearby this water body, and hence if there is suddenly there is a heavy tide or a tsunami, or if the quantity of water has increased here. Okay, so there can be immediate flood in this area, and I think you can see also there are some water that is being accumulated in these areas. Okay, so flooding has already taken place in this area. So this is your coastal flooding. Okay, example of an coastal flooding. All right. Okay, so next is your river flooding or riverine flooding. You can say riverine flooding also. So this type of flooding is the most common type, okay, of inland. So inside an area, inside an area, okay, inside a particular state. Okay, so this is the most common type of flooding. For example, you take Brahmaputra. Okay, Assam suffers from riverine flooding because of Brahmaputra. Okay, okay, so that's an example of riverine flooding. Okay, so inland, what is inland? Inland is uh, within a country. Okay, within a country uh, or interior. Okay, it is situated. What is inland? Inland is actually a part within a country. Okay, within a country, or even say, let's say there is a state. Okay, within a state. Okay, within a state, that is called as inland. Okay, so the most common type of inland flooding within a state is the river flooding. Obviously, for example, flooding because of Brahmaputra. Okay, that's the most common type of river flooding. Okay, so this type of flooding takes place because of heavy rainfall, or because, let's say, the leaves that are constructed near the rivers, they will break. Okay, so that can also lead to um, overflowing of the river water. Okay, sorry, flowing means if the leaves break, then there will be an overflow. Okay, so let's say there is a sudden heavy rainfall. Okay, and that monsoon is continuing, so the flow rate in the river will increase. Okay, sometimes what may happen, that flow rate can be beyond its capacity. Okay, it can increase beyond its capacity, so that can break the leaves. Okay, and the excess water will flood the nearby areas. Okay, just like the flood situation in Assam because of the Brahmaputra river. Okay, so that will be a riverine flooding. Okay, so next is your flash flooding. Okay, what is flash flooding? This type of flooding happens very quickly and also goes away quickly. Okay, it is sudden. How it is sudden? It is sudden because your ground. Okay, let's say there is a heavy rainfall, like there is a cloud burst. Okay, so there is cloud burst, so because of this cloud burst there will be very heavy rainfall. It's very heavy and sudden rainfall. So because of that, what can happen, your ground will absorb some part of the water, but as the water is falling very quickly, so it may not be able to, so it will generally it will not be able to absorb the water at the rate at which water is falling. Okay, the rate at which water is rainwater is falling on the earth is very high. Okay, as compared to the soil water absorption by the soil. Okay, so that can suddenly increase, or that can suddenly increase the built up of water on top of the soil. Okay, and which will lead to your flash flooding. All right, also flash flooding can sometimes take place because of blockage of your drains. Okay, because of drain blocking of drains, there can be flash flooding. Okay, but then they are, though they are very rapid, they are rapid, and but they subsides, that means they goes away also very quickly, but while they are lasting or while there is flash flood, then they can be very dangerous also. Okay, dangerous and fast moving also. Okay, all right. Then you have groundwater flood. So this type of flood is a very slow, uh, it is completely against the flash flood. Okay, opposite of flash flooding, because it takes time. Okay, how? Let's say there is continuous rainfall, but intensity is very less. Okay, very low with very low intensity, there is continuous rainfall, let's say for a month. Okay, then what will happen? The soil will able to absorb this water because intensity is very less, but the soil will have its capacity. Okay, the maximum capacity. Okay, the soil will have its moisture absorption capacity, so there will be a capacity beyond which the soil will not be able to absorb the water. Okay, so since the rain is very slow, okay, but it is for a longer duration, so what will happen? There will be no flash flooding. Okay, because the intensity is very um, less. Okay, and it is over a period, because intensity is very less, and so what will happen? The soil will be able to absorb. Okay, now what will happen is that since the duration of that flood is for a greater length, for a longer duration. Okay, so then what will happen is that at some point in time, your capacity of the soil to absorb moisture will lessen. Okay, so once it lessen, what will happen? Rainwater will start getting accumulated. Okay, and slowly there will be a development of flood. Those kind of floods is that particularly that kind of flood is called as your groundwater flood. Okay, the groundwater flood means the soil is not able to absorb any further increase or any further water, because the soil has become completely 100% saturated with water. Okay, and this kind of flood will remain for an extended period of time. Okay, so they will, as flash floods, they will develop slowly, but to but they will not subside also slowly. Okay, to subside it takes time, because there is already the soil is already 100% saturated, right? So it will take some time to subside also. Okay, so that is what your uh, flash flooding is. Okay, so you can go through it. Okay, so last is your drain water. Okay, last is your drain water, sorry, drain and sewer flooding. So this type of flooding takes place not only because of weather, but also because of, let's say there is rainfall is there, excessive rainfall is there, and then there is blockage. Okay, blocking of your drains or your sewer systems. So then this there can be flood because of those drain and sewer blockage. Okay, and if in that case there is heavy rainfall, then obviously there will be a um, heavy flood also. Okay, that can lead to heavy flood also. Okay, all right. And also drain and sewer flooding may be external, sorry, internal, within a building, or external. Okay, so it can be within a particular building, within a particular locality, or even if there is a drain flowing throughout a city, and if the drain is blocked, and if there is heavy rainfall, so that can also lead to a flooding. So that will be an external sewer or and a drain flooding. Okay, all right. So you can again pause the video, you can go through if you want. Okay, all right. So the last topic is reducing, how to reduce the risk from the floods. Okay, so you see, first point is mapping of flood prone areas. So first you have to identify the flood prone areas, and then you have to um, see the previous records whether in that particular area there any flood has occurred in the past or not. Okay, then warning can be issued looking into the earlier marked heights. Yes, obviously there will be heights marked near a river. Okay, especially in near a river, some the water levels. Okay, from the previous years, how much water level has reached, if there was a rainfall or if there was a flooding. So this is generally marked. Okay, near a river. Okay, so then these things are taken into consideration, and then previous data also regarding flood in a particular area is taken into consideration, and everything is considered, and they prepare a this hazard map, okay, regarding the flood, okay, and hazard map is also created, okay, and this is called as mapping of floods, okay. So if we map a flood, if we map a particular flood prone area properly, so that is the first step we can do to reduce the risk from a flood, okay. And it has to be very proper flood mapping. It's not like just taking previous data and you were making it, no, okay. So there should be proper a survey must be done, and then all these data has to be properly arranged, okay, then only there will be a proper mapping, okay. Second is your land use control, okay. So land use control will reduce the danger to life and property when waters inundate floodplains, okay. So a number of casualties related to pollution, and so if you are constructing your houses, if you are constructing your croplands near an area which is already flood prone, okay, which is already flood prone, so you will suffer from that, okay, because since the area is flood prone, and then you are again constructing your houses and you're cultivating in those lands, then obviously what will happen is that some point down the line you will suffer from flood. So that is why land use planning must be there, okay. Land use is a very important with respect to reducing the risk, okay. If you have those proper concept, okay, then you can reduce the risk from the floods. Obviously if you're not constructing an area, if you're not constructing your house in a flood prone area, rather you are constructing in a house where there is chances of less occurrence of flood, then obviously your risk is already reduced to a great extent from the floods, okay. Next is your construction of engineered structures, okay. So your structures that you are constructing should be able to withstand the forces, okay, that is acted upon by the floods, okay, and it should also be able to withstand the seepage of water, okay. Obviously your building, your construction has to be strong, okay. You must use codes, building codes, IS codes, okay. So the materials has to be very good, okay. The materials that you are using, building materials, that has to be very good. So all these factors also matter a lot, okay. So proper engineered structures for your houses, proper structures should be maintained, should be constructed, okay. Then 6 point, okay, I think 3, oh sorry, this is not 6, this is 4, okay. This is point number 4, okay. So flood control aims to reduce flood damage. This can be done by decreasing the amount of runoff with the help of reforestation. Yes, obviously you have to plant trees. So once you plant trees, once you are doing afforestation, okay, then obviously that will help in reducing the runoff, okay. Absorption will be there by the soil and runoff will be reduced, okay. Runoff is one of the major causes of your flooding, okay. If heavy runoff is there, okay, so let's say if natural soil is not there, and you are cutting the trees, and on top of that natural soil you are constructing a this road, or you are constructing a concrete structure. So what is happening, your soil's imperviousness is increasing because concrete is less impervious, okay. So that will increase the runoff, obviously that will increase the runoff, right. So once runoff increases, your chances of flood also increases. So that is why you have to plant trees, okay. Afforestation is must, okay. Then vegetation protection, yes, you have to protect your vegetation, you have to clear debris. If there is a pile of debris developed near a river which is blocking the river, you have to clean those up, okay. Ponds has to be conserved, okay. Your ponds, you have to clean your ponds, lakes, okay, they have to be there, okay. If you're damaging your ponds and lakes, then that can again lead to flood, okay. So all these measures are there, okay. Dams has to be very good, leaves has to be proper, embankments has to be checked regularly, okay. Then dams can store water and can release water at manageable radius. Suddenly the dam should not release the water, okay. So that will lead to flooding on the downstream side of the dam, okay. So releasing the water has to be at a constant, means it should not be very rapid, okay. It should be at a very constant rate, okay. So which can be managed, okay. Okay, so these things has to be properly done. Okay, then next, coming to the next point, proper flood management system in India has to be there. In a country there must be proper flood management system. So in India, systematic planning for flood management commences with 5-year plans. Okay, there are 5-year plans for your management of flood, particularly with the launching of National Flood Program in 1954. Okay, so there is a program, National Flood Program, that was developed in 1954. Again, and India is having 5-year plans also. Okay, and with that, India is having 5-year plans. In the last 48 years, different methods of flood protection, structural as well as non-structural, have been adopted in different states. Okay, so you can read through it. Okay, structural measures include storage reservoirs. Okay, proper storage reservoirs, flood embankments, leaves. Okay, drainage channels, anti-erosion works, channel improvement works, detention basins. Okay, so these are here some structural measures. Okay, non-structural measures here for proper forecasting of flood should be there. Okay, zoning, floodplain zoning, flood proofing. Okay, disaster preparedness. Okay, so these are some of the non-structural measures. Okay, 6th point is increasing the general awareness of people. Okay, so you have to increase the general awareness of people towards the how flood takes place, and also this can be achieved by conducting workshops. Okay, so all those things can be done. And point number 7 is effective support from the government and proper plan for carrying out works related to flood management. Now basically the government has to provide a good support in this, and then there can be works which are carried out related to flood management. Okay, the government is having its flood management program also, and 5-year flood management plans are also there. Okay, so in India especially, so like that, these are some of the ways in which you can reduce the risk from a flood, or rather you can call it as disaster risk reduction strategies for your floods. Okay, some of the disaster risk reduction strategies for your floods. Okay, so this you can also call it as disaster, I am writing it short. Okay, disaster risk reduction strategies for floods, strategies for floods. Okay, all right. Okay, so with that your flood is completed, and with that your unit 5 is also completed. Okay, so you from the next class we will focus on the only one unit is left now for this semester, that is your unit 4. Okay, that is completely on earthquake. Okay, so we'll start with that unit, and probably we'll try to finish that unit in this month itself. Okay, let's see how things work out. All right, so you do study. Okay, so whatever lectures I have given, you do study, and those lectures will not be again repeated in class. Okay, when the college reopens or when your classes resume, okay, they will not be again re-explained. Okay, because I have I have covered those things in video lectures. Okay, and these videos are already uploaded in the channel. Okay, so you all students are advised that you should go to you should watch those videos. Okay, and then you should make your own notes. Okay, class notes, like class notes. You should make your class notes, and also you can refer your notes. So total, along with the lecture plus your notes from the lecture plus the notes that I am giving you. Okay, or a combination of all those three you prepare, and then your complete preparation will be there for your end semester examination. Okay, so that is how you should prepare. Okay, your lecture plus the notes that you make out from the lecture, and the notes that the faculty is providing you. Okay, you combine all those three while preparing for end semester exam. You combine all those three, and then obviously your end semester exam will be very good. Okay, you'll score 80-90%. Okay, or at least 70% you will score at minimum if you follow this. Okay, so with that said, let's go and watch all the videos regarding the unit 5. Okay, so we'll be back with unit 4 in the next class. Okay, so thank you and have a great day ahead.